Hi, my name is Mark Unger. I'm producer of the TV program Roundtable, a weekly television series. Tonight we have a special presentation called the Margo Grant Show. Margo Grant is a well-known entrepreneur in the Russian-American community. She is the director of the Museum of the Museum of Russian Art, MoRA, a not-for-profit organization. Margo is also a president of the International Art Festival since 1996. She had promoted and produced intercultural American-Russian events and exhibitions and curated many projects. She has a long and successful career in public relations, maintaining a wide network of contacts. Margo possesses an incredible gift to inspire enthusiasm and excellence in everyone who is involved in the project she curates. She is a vivid art collector and very passionate about culture. She curated many international solo and group exhibitions. And of course, to see her catalog, you can go to thenewartfestival.com. And also, she does have a museum located in Jersey City, New Jersey. Also, her website is known as the www.moramuseum.org. And now, here's Margo Grant.
Welcome to Margo Show. I am Margo Grant. Today, I have two guests. One is photographer, and one is an artist.
Hello.
And they're going to tell you what they're doing, what is their art. And also, I have my very close friend, Olga, who is marketing director, and she can say some nice word about Museum of Russian Art.
Absolutely.
I represent Museum of Russian Art, located in Jersey City, New Jersey, very close from Manhattan, one stop from World Trade Center. So please come, it's not too far. And Olga will say something interesting about museum.
Absolutely.
Olga.
Yes. Thank you, Margo. So, I didn't know that the museum existed since 1996. I only met you and the museum just a couple of years ago. So a friend of mine invited me to one of the exhibitions. I came and I was surprised. First of all, I met you, which was very exciting, and I've met the artists at the exhibition. And I immediately felt that I am a part of the big, fun-loving family. All the artists were there. I don't even remember what the event was about. It was probably one of the opening of the exhibitions, right?
Yes.
So all the artists were there. All the guests were wonderful. People were having fun and drinking. Having fun.
Russian vodka.
Absolutely, yes. And Margo was all over the place, everywhere, and instantly I was very happy to meet you, and little by little we became friends. So at one point I just realized I do marketing in my life, and I'm also an IT person. So all of a sudden I realized that there is a little bit of marketing missing from the mix. And I have just started contributing as much as I can, right? So at this point, I think what is happening with the museums, a lot of new people are coming up on board, and everybody feels like he wants to bring, even if he's not an artist, even if he doesn't work for a museum, right? He feels like he wants to bring the new people in, right? That's what we saw at the last exhibition. Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't attend last exhibition,
didn't attend.
but I was there on the previous.
A lot of new faces.
Yes, a lot of new faces.
A lot of new faces. A lot of new people come in. people invite their guests and friends, and I think that's wonderful. So
Thank you, Olga.
Yeah,
Maybe we can show a video about last exhibition. It's beautiful video.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great. We have the video, right?
Yeah, we have a video from last exhibition, so probably we can show this video.
I think Michael exhibited his work, right?
Right.
Last time.
This is a video from last exhibition.
And it's great that music is playing, and the live music.
Kids were dancing.
Yeah, I saw
Right,
that
yeah.
little girl
Dancing.
dancing.
There was a
ballet
lot of
dancer.
wine. And a lot of art.
And it was Old Russian New Year, so naturally.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
the
January
closest
14th,
holiday
correct?
we
Actually, we celebrate also Old Russian New Year.
I didn't see this video. Who took it? Did you take it, Michael?
Yeah, I took it in spare time. I was running away from my exhibit and shooting this, and it was actually. It's great to have this memory. I have to say that this particular exhibit, in the environment that was created, with people being there and music playing, it was just really enjoyable. It teleported me into childhood, I would say, in this warm feeling of a museum from Russia.
Informal.
Informal, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
It's nice.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, now I would like to introduce this fantastic photographer, my friend, an artist who was exhibiting in museum very often, Michael Ezra. Your nude photography is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I met Michael last year in New York. It was Art Expo, Art Fair.
April last year.
April last
Like
year.
yesterday.
He has a series of that's called Journey, right? What is it called? Journey?
Journey was a composition which was basically a composition of multiple series. It was a retrospective of my work for the past 16 years, which I try to put from 9 pieces. And
Yeah.
because they're so geometrical, it was easy enough to put them together, and they start talking to each other, forming new patterns. And that was just that was one of the walls I was showing at the show.
Yeah, we can. Please, we have to show this beautiful photography in this Journey exhibition, right?
Right. I believe it would be a last picture in the slideshow that we prepared.
Michael, this is your. This is from this series, from the Journey series.
Journey series was constructed with a series of reflections residing over something that was a foundation for the rest of the work I've done in sculptural nudes. This was actually one of the images on the bottom of the composition. It's a representation of triangles and horizontal nudes, which were 2 series I started back in 2000.
This is called Reflection, or it's called Journey. What is this series?
The Journey was a composition comprised of multiple series, including reflections. And one of them was actually a levitation, is this one.
So
Whether it's
beautiful.
believable or not.
Fluid. Yeah.
How you found your models? Where you found your so beautiful
I
models?
was very fortunate, I have to say, and it was really difficult to start, because if you can imagine, when you just have an idea of photographing a nude human body, you need a real subject. And when you don't have any work to show, so that you gain trust, someone posing for you, it was very tough. But what helped me was that I used to draw and paint, and I had a model, Victoria, who was modeling for me. She was my first model here. And that's how it started. I started taking some photos which were supposed to be reference for painting. And at some point I realized that it could take a place of its own.
It's so beautiful photography. It's so beautiful photography. So
you.
how many models you have? You just have few? You have a lot?
Tough to say, actually. I would say probably over 100, maybe 150.
Where are you
Or-
doing your photography? Where is your studio?
My studio is in place I live. It was in Brooklyn for 16 years, and we recently moved to Staten Island. And the studio is in my home. So it's a dream come true. I have a dedicated space for a studio. It's wonderful high ceilings and quite a few locations I could utilize. It's
Very nice.
worked out
So,
nicely.
Michael, tell us a little bit about your background. I know that you was born in Tbilisi, beautiful city.
was very fortunate with that as
Georgia.
well. Yes,
It's not
and
American Georgia. It's a Russian Georgia.
it's a former Soviet Republic of Georgia, but Georgia has a long history, thousands of years. And I'm from the capital of Georgia, Tbilisi, which translates to a warm city. There is a legend that the king Vakhtang Gorgasal, who founded the city, he was hunting, and he killed a bird which fell into a creek, and by the time he would get to the bird was cooked essentially because of the hot creeks in the land of
What a
Georgia.
beautiful legend.
And maybe it was true. And so he decided to found a city in that location. It was called Tbilisi. But what is most fascinating is actually that the name of the city truly suits the nature of that country because of its warmth and hospitality. That
Yeah, it's fantastic. I know my friend just came back from Tbilisi. He says it's unbelievable warm people. Its food is unbelievable.
food is exquisite. It's the best,
exquisite.
I believe,
Yeah.
probably in the world. Not just because I'm from there, but
Yeah.
I don't think there is any other cuisine which would stand.
Yeah, my
you know,
favorite hachapuri.
it's
There is some
incredible.
Georgian restaurant in
Yes, in
New York.
New York,
You
yes.
should go there.
Oh, yes.
They said that the food is unbelievable there.
There's a few old Tbilisi and Compass, Red Compass, and
Yeah.
yes,
There's
Yeah.
a nice restaurant in Brooklyn, actually.
yeah, in Brooklyn
Michael,
also.
and what about your reflection? There is a series that called Reflection, I know.
Yes.
Yes?
Well, the Reflections is a special series. I have quite a few series that I use to structure my work in, just because it turns out to be easier to manage and rationalize what it is that I'm doing. But Reflections is a special series because each piece reflects on a series that it represents. So if I have a series of horizontal nudes or triangles or levitation, each one, for each there is a piece in Reflections. And Reflection, English is such an interesting language that it's multiple meanings are in the same word. Each work is presented sort of as a mirror image of top and the bottom, but they're never the same.
Not exactly.
Never the same, yes.
right.
And-
And
and
it's very
that
interesting
gives
to
additional-
try to follow what's different.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's one image which is the same, and it's a reflection. I don't know if we'll get it
It
on,
was
on the
not at the
screen.
exhibition, was it?
It was
not.
actually in the top of the. Well, I could probably show it right here. It's this one, where the top and the bottom images
yes,
are the
reflection,
same, but
yes.
the bottom is flipped.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to represent here is it's based on the concept of triangles. Very simple concept, but it forms a pattern which seems perpetual, as a perpetuity of creative cycle that we go through.
I
As
just wanted
artists.
to say that your works are very beautiful. They're beautiful. They're
Thank you.
very pleasurable to look at. But in addition to the beauty, there is some background which you're sharing with us right now, right? You're explaining why things are the way they are, right? And that adds additional dimension that kind of helps you understand
Yes.
what is behind there.
I'm glad you mentioned it, and the primary message I'm trying to convey is related to beauty alone. But what I find is interesting, and I deeply relate to that, is beauty does not exist alone, actually, as we all know, because there is a concept of dualism, that for anything that there is something else that is opposite. Something else that is opposite that helps it to exist. And that concept of dualism, I'm trying to evolve in my work. And Reflections is a good reflection on that subject matter as well.
And this is
But,
reflection?
Oh, this, well, you could say so, because it's actually very similar
Yeah.
to left. It's an something
this
that
is-
resembles infinity symbol. It's one of the most recent sessions I had. It was a dream come true. I worked with world-class contortionists
It's
this time.
amazing.
And who is
Do you
your
train them? Do you train them?
I of course I didn't, no. But most other models I work with, actually, in most cases, it was the first occasion that they would pose for something like this, and during a session, I suppose the session serves purpose of training as we go, and something always comes out of it.
And who is these models? They ballet, from ballet, from the yoga.
Actually, it's very. And you mentioned ballet, and what happened last year at Art Expo, almost everyone who would ask me a similar question, they would suggest that my models are ballerinas.
Ballerinas, right?
Well, maybe a few of them were, but most of them were not, and some may had ballet training in childhood, and that prompted me to actually look into it deeper and try to work with ballerinas. So this year, the last year, as a result, I was happy to organize a few sessions with ballerinas, and I started working on new series which I call musical athletes. I find that although ballerinas are interesting creatures, I would say, they are so artistic and so musical that we tend to forget the difficulty and strength that brought them there, that allows them to be so effortless. And what I try to represent through the series is specifically the aspect of athleticism that allows musicality.
Very, very interesting, right?
I think I have a proposition for you because I just realized that Michael and I, we have a lot in common, because if you look at my work, at my graphics, you will see the same lines, and I also depict human forms, and there's also movement in my graphic works. And I also did some series on ballet dancers as well. So maybe next time you will do the photography and we'll do the sketches for my next project.
Okay, maybe I introduce now Elena. Elena Iosilevich, who is an artist. She works with, her graphic work is really unbelievable. So probably we will show now your graphic work, which is show a lot of intimacy and relation between men and women. And also she's working also in another mixed media. Glenn, give us some information about your background.
Sure. So I was born in Russia, but I spent my teenage years in Estonia because my father served in military. And when I graduated high school, I started to learn fashion design. And after I got some knowledge in fashion design, we moved back to Russia, where I graduated State Professional and Art College in decorative art major. So basically, when you look at my art works, so you will see some decorative elements. But I always been influenced by Russian culture, so I always wanted to be a great artist and express myself. So I work in oil medium, and my main subject is still life, landscapes, and seascapes. So, but recently I started to develop my new series of graphic works, which I just mentioned, Love in Three Colors and Adam and Eve. So this is a very interesting subject because I think
So
yeah,
beautiful.
this image is from Adam and Eve. So some people thought that people on the image are dancing, but I said this is your imagination. If you think they're dancing, they're dancing. If you think they're sharing some secrets, they might talking about something, secretly. But I like to experiment with lines. And I like to create this sense of movement. And my main message to my audience is just to find some intimate relationship between a man and a woman. So, and color, you see some color on my work. I use watercolor, so this is ink and watercolor. So color comes secondary, the first come lines and my composition. So this is one of the ballet dancer, you can see ballet dancer
I really love your
graphics.
I really, really love your graphic. It's just unbelievable. When we had the show last time, people just gather all together in front of her graphics work.
Yeah, it was-
Everybody asked me, who is this artist? Where is she?
Yeah, it was very interesting to observe people looking and talking about my art, and every person saw different images. So I have this image of 3 people with woman in the middle. You saw this image on the screen, and some person told me, "Oh, it looks like a heart." Human heart. I said, really? So to me, it was very unusual to hear that that person saw human heart in this artwork. Yes, but yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now, and I think, as I said, Michael and we can share some ideas.
You also have beautiful landscape.
I do, yes. I always demand a lot of myself. So I think as a professional artist, there is no limits to learn and search for the answer. So I constantly go to Metropolitan Museum, even though I saw some paintings many times, I still go there, I sketch, I learn, and it inspires me a lot. So, and also my children, because I also teach children. I opened studio about 8 months ago, and also I do it in my private apartment. So, and my kids, actually, my children is my inspiration.
So what is your what is your dream project?
My dream project. There are a lot of ideas, actually. My dream project is to create series of landscapes in large scale and call it 4 seasons. So this is my dream project, and I want to exhibit and show at least 4 art pieces, images for each season: winter, spring, summer, and fall. And all different images, different landscapes, of course, will reflect some country landscapes. So I have 4 images of Argentina landscapes, which are beautiful, and so this is my dream project.
So tell me, if artist life really lonely,
It's a
and
philosophical
how
question.
you doing? What you're doing about this?
It's a philosophical question. In my opinion, and from my experience, I think it is lonely. But we, Russian community and American community of artists, I think they view reality a little bit different. So me as a Russian artist, I like to share my ideas with my colleagues, with my fellow artists. Just, get together, talk about art, talk about life. That's how I view that artists have to be, and exist as a community.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, life is very busy, and there are a lot of stress in life. People have to work, and unfortunately, there's not much time just to get
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Yes. So, what do you think, Michael?
Whether artist's life is lonely, I think we're all living in our imagination naturally. You have to know how to live with yourself. The way I started with art world, I had a mentor, and I've seen him hopefully almost every day when I was a teenager. I would just run over, and he was a neighbor, just a 5 minutes of a run or less. It was not lonely then. It was
Because it
very
was in
different.
Tbilisi, right? Tbilisi
It was
before
Tbilisi,
city,
yes.
yeah?
Yes. But I think every artist, by definition, is somewhat lonely, and we're trying to break through, and that's why we're sending messages,
Interesting.
which is
Yes,
our work.
Yes, I agree. Oh, yes. Yes, I agree.
I just want to say that we also publish series of book. This is the last year catalog, and it's a lot of interesting. It's international contemporary art catalog. It's a lot of interesting artists here. Let me show you few at least.
Well, looking at this catalog, you wouldn't believe that artists are lonely because they're all gathered in this book.
Right. That's MoRA is a great venue, is a great institution. So
And
you would never feel
this
lonely
year we're going to publish another catalog this year. So if somebody interesting, just send us information about.
These are the artists you met or touched during the last couple of years, right? You just collect their art and publish a book because you want them to be, all of them to be represented, right? That's how it works? Is that how it works?
Right.
Okay.
Michael, say something about this catalog. You know
Alex.
this catalog?
Alex,
It's
where
Where are you, Alex?
It
It's
was
another
supposed to be,
photographer that's supposed to be here. He just couldn't make it.
but hopefully
But
next
that's-
show
that's
we'll
his
see him.
Art in this catalog.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
there is a website where more can be learned about this catalog. It's newartfestival.com, and artists can
somebody-
apply to
If somebody
participate.
want to participate in this catalog, you have a website. Okay, so thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
we'll
very
see you next time.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Margo. It was a pleasure to see you and
Thank you,
with
Margo.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.